What's up, my peeps? Joshua Smith here with another GSD Mode podcast interview. So today, you guys, another epic interview in line for today. We got just a badass. This guy is a real estate agent. Started off operating a team. We'll start off as a solo agent. Very quickly grew a very successful real estate team. Went to doing about 300 transactions a year within only 3 years, and then transitioned into becoming a real estate brokerage. And within 3 years of operating a brokerage, I mean, we're talking going from a real estate team of 17 agents 3 years later to owning a brokerage and operating a brokerage with over 625 agents. Like this dude's growth is insane. His energy is insane. His focus is insane. And we go really deep into exactly how he did it, why he did it, and how he did it, and what they continue to do to have massive success. Real quick, though, before we jump into today's interview, I want to plug our sponsors that make all of this possible. First sponsor is my 90-day Mastery Bootcamp. This is my personal mentorship program. This is me walking through step-by-step everything that I've done to sell over 5,000 homes, sell over $1 billion in real estate gross sales volume. 2017 to be on track to sell 650 homes. And I'm walking you guys through everything I do inside my business, how I built everything that I've created, and what I'm doing exactly precisely today. So I give you my operations manual, I give you my playbook. I don't just give it to you, I walk you through. We spend 3 to 3.5 hours every single week for 90 days for 12 full sessions, going through exactly how to do this, how to implement the rhyme to the reason, and then I give you everything so it's a plug and play model. So my next 90-day Mastery Bootcamp, go to www.90daymastery.com to see when the next one is. If you're watching this before November 27th of 2017, that's our last one of the year. So if you want to go kick ass in 2017, check us out. If you're watching this after the fact, go to 90daymastery.com to see when those are. When you're signing up, make sure to use promo code LIVEMASTERY, all caps, all one word, all together, and that'll get you the biggest discounts and save you the biggest money. Next sponsor is REO Mastery University. So I teamed up with a buddy of mine who is the most brilliant guy I've ever met when it comes to REOs. He actually worked for the bank, designed a lot of the programs the REO banks, REO outsourcers and banks use today. He has personally sold and managed over 11,000 assets from the side of an asset manager. Now is a realtor, though, transitioned after the market crash into real estate. So between his expertise and my expertise of servicing over 35 banks and selling thousands of REOs, we created REO Mastery University. So www.reomasteryuniversity.com. It's a 22-module, in-depth, step-by-step, everything from how to get into REO to how to service REO. I mean, anything and everything you can think of, cash for keys, evictions, trash outs, BPOs. I mean, again, anything and everything you can think of is inside that program. We also have a session in there where we talk very heavily and get you prepared and dialed in on short sales. This program ensures that your business is recession proof. So go out there, check us out, www.reomasteryuniversity.com. Last sponsor is perfectstormnow.com. This is the website CRM that I use inside my business. If you want to go out there and become a lead generation machine, generate $2, $3 Facebook leads and a tremendous amount of free Facebook leads on a daily basis, as well as be able to follow up effectively and efficiently and convert these leads to the highest level, check us out, perfectstormnow.com. It's extremely affordable. It's $199 a month for a single account, for an agent account. And if you use promo code MASTERY, PSN, Mastery, all caps, all one word, all together. So Mastery, PSN, MASTERY, PSN. That will waive the $200 registration fee and allow you to do the month-to-month option. So make sure you guys check us out. All right, you guys, we're going to jump in right now to today's interview. Hopefully you enjoyed today's interview as much as I did. What is up, my peeps? Joshua Smith here with another GSD Mode podcast interview. Every single week, we interview top entrepreneurs and just straight up top badass out there dominating their spaces. Of people choosing to not live a life of mediocrity, but instead to go out there and create big, amazing, epic lives for themselves, their families, as well as have a big impact on others. And today, you guys, got another rock star, special, amazing guest on the show. This is a guy that about 2 years ago started a real estate brokerage with 17 agents, and it's taken this in 2 years from 17 agents to over 625 agents. So experiencing massive growth, and is up to a lot of big things. So really stoked on it. I have Eric Pearson on the show, my friend.
Hey, man, I appreciate you having me, dude. This is a pleasure, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, I'm stoked to have you on, man. It's been a little while since we talked, and you're like, 600, some people bigger than last time we talked. So I'm excited to see what's going on, man. That's insane growth, dude.
Yeah, dude, we're definitely we're growing, man. It's been a lot of fun. We've been doing it the right way, making sure we scale appropriately and efficiently, and couldn't be happier, man. It's a little bit outside our wildest expectations, and just keep that whole thing going. So,
yep, I love it, man. So all right. So in 2 years, you went from 17 agents to over 625 agents. Something like like $2 billion in gross volume sales, something like that. Just insane numbers. Before I get into how you went from 17 to 625, I'm also really intrigued on how you got to 17. Like, walk through the journey of what took you from getting into the industry to going to 17. I don't know if that was a team that you had before you flipped the switch to go to the brokerage model, and then we'll kind of talk of what's taken place since.
Yeah, definitely, man. And the team concept's kind of what allowed us to do this whole thing. But, I started in 2011. I used to be a public accountant and jumped into real estate. And it was definitely a leap of faith at that time. Just kind of quit my job cold turkey, got into it. Everybody knows this business is a little bit tough, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. So, just kind of cut the cord, borrowed a little bit of money from my then girlfriend, now wife, and just jumped into it right away. And to be honest, just that first year or so, I just 24/7, you know how it is. You got to pay your dues and grind and make sure you do what you got to do to, get it in. So first year real estate, did about 10 transactions, nothing too crazy. Year 2 did 72 transactions. And then year 3, we're doing about 300 transactions with a team at that time. Now what I did, and I wish it was still this easy in leads where the costs that they used to be, but what I did was took an online lead gen model and then also coupled that with referral. You usually see people doing, one or the other. So I do referral, and online leads suck because I don't call them back very quickly or whatever it is. Or I do online leads, I close them, and then it's kind of on to the next, forget all about them. So I just kind of took the two, coupled them together, and built, just a funnel and a beast of what we were doing. And luckily had the ability at the time, I just needed people, and luckily I found some great agents, joined the team, and had an abundance of these leads coming through. And then just was able to train and teach those agents how to do it the right way. And they call it followed suit and all that type stuff. And as I saw myself building this team, as we got to that kind of 17 agents, what I wanted and what I saw in brokerage was I had this vision to create a very agent-centric brokerage, right? I wanted to do something where we were really giving back to agents, provide them with this atmosphere that just really helped them grow. And the reason for that is as you build a team and you're doing these things, you're going to have these, successful agents that really take it to the next level. And once they get to that point, unfortunately, it's usually, Eric, I appreciate all the time, man, but I'm ready to do this on my own. And I kind of saw that very quickly as, hey, I've reached this kind of platform of what I'm doing, but I'm a little capped out because I'm going to have to always be bringing in new agents, training them, do what they, need to do, and eventually lose them. And obviously, in my eyes, I was kind of happy to lose them at that point because it showed that I was able to help them build success and be a small part of that. So I kind of quickly realized I want a brokerage where when I take an agent in and train them, get them going, when they're ready to go to that next level, I still offer a platform for them to be there. So they're able to kind of grow within the brokerage. So we kind of started this crazy, insane model, really built off culture, making sure we're always providing agents, making them happy. I want to be around people that are happy and enjoy being here as well. Crazy culture. We do have some recruiting incentives, which we can kind of talk about in terms of help with that growth. It's been really organic with what we're doing. And then our biggest platform is we have 14 different comp plans. So if you come in super green, well, I got leads for you. I got things that are going to help grow your business. If you come in as the most experienced agent in the business, we got 100% models for you. So, and everywhere in between. So it gives us the ability to really match, not on what's necessarily always best for, brokerage or things like that. It's all about what's best for you as an agent, and let's get in this and do it together. Tell me what your goals are, and let's make sure we hit those. So it's been it's been crazy. But that's kind of how we've gone from, initially starting to where we are now. And the truth is, I always look back and think how blessed I was that when I made that transition, luckily those 17 agents came with me, because if they didn't, we wouldn't have had this kind of engine running that allowed to get the brokerage started. So that's kind of the, beginning to end to where we are. We still have a crazy vision to grow. But ultimately, today we sit at about 625 agents and having a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, that's insane, dude. That's amazing, man. So, all right. So then it sounds like, okay, you've got the brokerage, right? But with your 14 comp plans, you still have the same, you're still operating a team model, right? But it just allows them at any level that they want to go out there and transgress and grow and adapt to. So let's kind of walk through that. All right. So you're at 17 agents. You realize, and I'm not a brokerage, I'm a team. And that's one of the things I hate the most about the team, as well as even if you have a progressive split model, there comes a point where a lot of people will leave. And a lot of it sometimes is just identity. It's just like, hey, man, I just want to create my own team. And it becomes an ego thing. And, so I love it's just a natural evolution, I think, for anybody that wants to take this big to do what you did. So, all right, so you make this move with your 17 agents. What was the first kind of transition, because you still had the team at that point. What was the first transition or the first model that you went to or that you expanded into?
Well, initially we had about, 7 or 8 packages, and we've kind of seen what agents' needs are and adapt to it when we come in. But with those 17 agents, when we made that transition, I asked each of them, hey, you can pick any of these packages. Don't think you need to stay on the model that you initially started with. Now, our initial model is it's 50-50 leads and listings, all listings because we cover expenses, and then it's 70-30 personal buyer. Now, what they get from a lead perspective, we're probably tossing them about 30 plus Realtor.com, Zillow leads, some of those high quality leads that come in a little bit hotter with what they're getting. Plus, they're getting everything done for them. So they got the transaction coordinator, staging, photos, signs, brochures, like whatever it is. And it's similar to a model as being on a team. Now, what I realized, and it's like simple fixes in terms of building a team and helping it scale, but it's amazing when I kind of ran the team, everything had to be, my brand, my face, my MRS listings, or whatever I wanted to put it in had to go under my name. And when I made the simple change of saying, you know what, I want it to be your face. I want it to be you on the sign, you on the brochure. Let's grow you, put it under you. I want you to get all the stats. We don't need any recognition of any sorts in what we're doing. The mind shift in that agent thinking that they're growing their own business and actually they are growing their own business, like really helped in keeping that retention. So that's kind of where it's a little bit different. Like on our initial package, it runs identical to a team. However, it's about their business, right? At any time, every quarter, change packages, man. If it's not right for you anymore, go on to that next level. We want you to brand yourself, start building your own thing. And oftentimes, obviously, with those team models, you can get stuck with, I'm ready to part ways. Well, who's leads who? What's going on? We allow them to take that and kind of help grow that business. And it's a very simple switch, right? You come to me at the end of each year. Hey, Eric, I closed 24 deals this year. And a simple question is, well, how many were brokerage generated leads versus how many were personal business? Well, if you tell me 20 were leads, it's probably not time to go. But there is going to be that eventual break even where it's like, hey, man, why are you still on a lower split comp plan? Go get the higher split and start taking off. You've built a database. You've got a good business. You know what you're doing. So that's the initial package. And obviously it's 50-50 business, the majority of it. So when we talk about kind of sales, and again, we annualize right now to about $2 billion. When we talk about those sales, probably half of ours come on 50-50, a lot of brokerage generated leads. And that's what the engine of our brokerage is, because a lot of people come and they're a little bit, unsure of how we make it work because initial package is that, top package is 100% with a $250 transaction fee, and saying, how can you make that profitable for your business? Well, we have so much going on with these leads, we're able to do that. So about 15 of the 17 agents started out on that kind of team model, which allowed us to kind of really get going as a brokerage. 2 picked other models, and I think since then, majority of those has funneled off at this point, and we just bring in new agents, train them up, get them to where they want to be, hold them accountable, make sure they obviously have the work ethic to make it happen, and then kind of grow them from there.
Yeah, what's crazy about this, what you're saying, dude, is $1 billion a year of your sales come from generated leads that you're generating. Now, you're not classified as a team on awards, right? Like with the Wall Street Journalist. But if you were, I don't know if there's really any billion-dollar agents out there like you. That's just
you look up my name, you'll see zero.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the thing, man. And we want to keep growing that model. We can easily take that and expand it into other platforms. And we're kind of getting to the point where we feel we really refined it where, hey, we're ready to do that. And we're going to see where it goes from there. We're licensed Virginia, Maryland, DC, West Virginia. And people ask me a lot of times from a vision standpoint, what do I want to do? Well, I want to dominate those marketplaces. I do not at this point in time want to expand outside of that because we're so big on culture, right? I don't want to lose what we built. So I want to grow, be that, kind of market share brokerage that we have out there. But it's very, very important to me to stay mom and pop, right? Yeah. So like one of our core values, you can be serious without wearing a suit, and we kind of have fun, and we have putting greens in the office, all kinds of stupid stuff. But it's for intention, right? I want you to come here, and I want you to be a part of it. So we have big goals, but yeah, that's 100% our lead generation platforms and how well we've been able to teach agents to convert and do things is what helps us run and make us successful.
Yeah. So, all right. So you guys are generating these leads that go directly to the agent, or do you have some type of internal ISA platform that helps nurture them, or they go just directly to the agent that takes
directly to the agent? So we run off Boomtown. So Boomtown's a platform that we use. Everything auto imports into that, and that's obviously something. Boomtown's our CRM, right? A lot of people want that magic pill with a Boomtown or whatever it is, but that's how we convert our leads. Our leads typically come from other sources. But we use Boomtown. That's what filters everything, goes directly to the agent. And I've actually tried a ton of different models. Like obviously the reason you can really learn and see things is by, technically probably failing at other things. Yeah. Used to do the ISA model. And this is what I found, right? Because a ton of people have a lot of success with it. And I'm not, saying that doesn't work. It was probably me that was flawed in a sense. But when I can give an agent a lot of direct leads, they feel the energy never stops, right? If I'm filtering through an ISA, even though it's going to be a little more converted, obviously, and they might go to an appointment and have a better closing ratio, when you're getting that, 2, 3, 4 leads a month, you don't feel it, right? They don't see the other 30 leads that they're going through. So a little bit just from the agent mindset, they like getting those leads better. It kind of keeps them a little bit more motivated and out there to really learn the business themselves instead of sit back and wait for that hand me off. And then quite frankly, we had a massive call center at one time. What we found the toughest part is they all want to become agents. They do it for months to a year, and they're like, dude, why am I doing this and making a small percentage of the deal when I can just go off and become a real estate agent and really crush it? And a lot of those people kind of filtered off from the ISA program onto our lead packages have been very, very successful, and we thought maybe that's a great training ground of sense and things like that. But at the end of the day, what we found is just directly to agents works the best. What we do, and we have found to be the very best, we try round robin models, ISA models, all that. We do an agent of the day model. So we have several agents, 10 agents a day. They come in, all leads are filtered to those agents. They check in at 9, check out at 5. They have their accountability sheets. We know what they're doing. Our brokers and team, kind of leaders are there really mentoring them and teaching them along the way, kind of those brainstorming sessions. We see that it really keeps them focused. That day I'm coming into work, I'm going to do my thing, and then I have a week to make sure I try to really convert these leads, and I come back and rinse and repeat. That's what we found to date to be the most successful and also the most scalable. It allows us to really keep that oversight that needs to be done to make sure, the spend going in these leads is getting more expensive every day, that we're getting the ROI that we need to in order to make it all work.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I haven't done it ever to your volume, but that's what I found to work the best too. Cause it's like, if you're just round robining, dude, they're out with clients, they're in a listing appointment, but if they're blocked in the office, they have that day blocked off. There's no client time. They're responding within, minutes and it's just dedicated. So I dig that, dude. So then, all right, man, so you got 14 different comp plans, and obviously it's working. Right. But when I hear that, I'm like, man, that's like going to the restaurant that has like the 6-page menu that's too overwhelming. And I don't know if I've ever seen a brokerage with 14 comp plans. Yeah. If you came to me, dude, and said, hey, Josh, I'm thinking about 14 comp plans, I'd be like, Dude, I think that's a mistake, right? Like simplify it, like go the in and out where, there's only, a few things on the menu. However, dude, you've proven it to kill it with that. So how did you come up with 14 comp plans, man? Can you give us an idea of what that looks like?
Yeah, everything is based off kind of agent need. Now, when we say 14, probably, so it's 4 or 5, 9 of those really are based off commission and sales volume, right? So it depends on your sales volume. You get a higher split. You can progressively grow off that. So that's huge. And then 3 of them, so 3 of those 9 are team models. So our team models are ridiculous. If you're kind of a bigger team out there and you want to really grow, it's just based off 100% with a transaction fee, no cost per additional agent. So you can scale like you're at a brokerage in a sense and really make your business, where it wants to be, keep that retention, grow a team yourself. So several of them are simply similar to an individual agent, probably a little bit more attractive splits than what you see at other places, or cater to other teams, because we have about 15 teams here at the brokerage outside of, the kind of one model that we run to help them grow. But just to kind of look at kind of the uniqueness of what we do, we've seen some people come into the business and they don't want to go to that whole team route, right? But they're a crazy listing specialists. They're here, they're busy, they need the help, but they don't want to go out and hire their own transaction coordinator that's going to cost them a salary or whatever it is. So at our brokerage, we have one package called the branded agent package, right? We kind of do it in their own brand. We allow them to be themselves, give them the assistance that they want. They kind of come in on a 90-10 split, pay us $500 a month, and we do everything for them. So we got the transaction coordinators, the brochures, the photos, the sign install, everything is completely done for that person. And that, again, if you're a listing agent and you do more than, 1, 2, 3, 4, heck, you can do 10 listings a month. You're just paying $500 and getting everything done for you. And in our model, you look at it and say, man, how the hell does that work? Well, if they're the 90-10, the 10% basically pays for a listing, right? We're break even on a listing, but they're also going to have some buy side just to make it somewhat profitable to the brokerage. And obviously there's a monthly fee to keep it, where it needs to be and kind of help out as well. So whatever we see as a need, if you're a listing specialist, we come up with a package. If you're an agent who's more, potentially dual career, well, I can't give you leads, right? It's going to be impossible for you to work them, but I can set you up on a package that's extremely attractive from a split standpoint and then give you the assistance you need to help your business run the right way. So when we get somebody, 2 things happen, right? If I get that dual career agent that isn't necessarily able to really, put in the 40, 50 hours a week or whatever it is, well, the last thing I want is that person cheaping out and taking pictures of a listing with their phone or something like that. So I want to be in control of that. So that way our product that we put out on the market is always going to be crisp, clean. People are going to know, man, they put together a good, listing when they put it on the market, because the brokerage is paying for all that expense. The agent is still sitting on a 70-30, a nice attractive split, getting everything done for them, and then able to help kind of really grow their business, potentially get to that transaction volume that will allow them to go full-time or whatever it is. So we base it off agent need. If we see it, we're going to come up with it. Every day we're kind of thinking of different options and packages and things that we have, and been very, very blessed. The way we scale, we got several employees here, people that we've been very lucky to find and hire, just as passionate about it as we are. And it allows us to do it very, very efficiently as well. So, that's been a lot of fun kind of working with these people and growing together.
Yeah. Well, and then in the beginning, you talked about you had a kind of an internal incentivization for recruiting, so you've been able to grow. It's not like you're sitting there doing 2,000 recruiting calls a week and having to meet with these agents. I mean, maybe you are, I don't know, but it sounds like you've been able to grow through your agents, right? Through these other packages. Kind of walk us through that.
Yeah, so I've never made an outbound call before. I'd send a couple email blasts and things like that, but nothing too crazy. But our incentive is, we have 14 packages. Let me count it here. 7 of those are 90-10 and below. All right, 2 of them are 95-5. The rest are 100% models. Well, if you bring an agent into our brokerage and their split is 90-10 and below, that agent joins, you get 5% GCI. And that's forever as long as they're doing a deal. So every deal that they close, say the agent splits 70-30, agent gets 70, you introduce me, you get 5, we get 25. So you're getting 5% at all times. So we have agents making crazy passive income by recruiting these agents. Then obviously as you scale up and split, that goes down a little bit, 5% to 2.5% to, a portion of the transaction fee as you grow. But it's all based off revenue. It's all extremely transparent. There doesn't need to be any thinking. And agents come here and they refer because they know, hey, these guys take care of me. It's a different experience that I'm getting here at this brokerage, and you can tell that they truly care. You can tell, we're first one in, last one out of the office, and kind of doing our thing as we grow. And then they know, hey, when they sit down with Eric, one of those 14 packages is guaranteed to be a better option than probably what they currently have. So when that agent comes in after talking to him for 10, 15 minutes, I'm able to say, hey, look, with what you're telling me and what your goals are and where you are, if this package is the one that's for you, let's talk about it and see if that's a fit. So our agents are obviously out there. It's more passive. They meet somebody and they say, hey, what's going on with Pearson Smith? We hear a lot about it. They let them know, set up an email introduction. I kind of meet with that person and see what's right for them.
Yeah. Well, no, I love that. I love the whole revenue share, because then you get an agent, dude, that is growing their business. They're making some good money. And when you get an extra few grand a month coming in on just passive income, right?
Yeah.
Like you start getting a little taste of that. You're like, damn, dude, right? I might be able to make more residual income off of recruiting agents and, hey,
if an agent was smart, they because that's forever, they could come and just crush and recruit 100 agents, probably retire making $500,000 a year doing nothing. But ultimately it's kind of a secondary thing, but it helps with our growth. It's been very successful, and luckily we're a privately held company, right? We don't have that royalty to throw off or whatever it is to whoever needs to be paid, and it allows us. We looked at it and said, you know what, we have this bonus that we don't have to worry about paying franchise fees or whatever it is. So instead of rewarding ourselves with that, let's figure out how we can reward other agents with it. And again, brings it all back to being that super agent centric. Like we just want to do what we can to cater to these agents to make them successful.
Yeah. Dig it, dude. So then with that, for those that want to create a certain compensation, because obviously like Profit Show with Keller Williams, has been a big part of their growth. And then you look at, companies like EXP, their revenue share, a big part of their growth. And, but a lot of these, like at EXP, right? Like you have to, which is good, right? Because it retains the agent, but you have to remain there. If you leave, right, you forfeit your revenue share. Have you set up something similar to that, or is it?
We do. You do have to be a part of Pearson Smith in some shape or fashion. Now, if somebody's going to retire in a sense or kind of stop, you can still get it if you join our referral brokerage. So you do have to be a part of Pearson Smith Realty to get it, but it doesn't mean you necessarily have to always remain active in a sense. Yeah. There are options to go to referral brokerage and still keep that. So technically you can keep it going forever, but you do still have to be part of the brokerage model. And that's what it is, man. It's a good incentive for real estate agents. It also, without a doubt, makes every agent want to help every other agent, right? I want to help my recruits. I want you to help my recruits. I want everybody to be in this together to help. And then it's a retention tool. You're making $100,000 a year on recruiting incentives. You're probably going to want to stay and make sure you cash in on that. So.
Yep. Oh yeah, dude. No, I love it, man. So then, you talked a lot about culture, because it's one of these things where, we see a lot of these 100% brokerages or whatever that have some great incentive plans, but they still never get their agents to produce, right? Nobody really wants to be a part of there. They're able to grow because they like a culture is that one thing that can't be replaced, and it makes or breaks an organization. So what are some of the things that you guys have done to really build that strong culture?
Yeah, so a couple things that we do. So from a brokerage meeting standpoint, we hold one in-person brokerage meeting a month, right? But we make it a complete show. We're renting out places, putting on concerts, doing, whatever we can to make sure that's a huge event each time, taking them to lunch after, taking them to happy hour, whatever it is. But we get a huge turn each and every brokerage meeting. So of our 625 agents, you'll get 400 of them at the brokerage meeting because they just come and see what the hell are they going to do next. Like, last one blew me away. Let's see what we got this time. we do a virtual show on a weekly basis. So we got a show we put on for the agents. It's a good time. They can tune in right from home, see what we're doing, what kind of, stupid stuff is happening, but it allows us to get the message across of, hey, here's what we need to do, guys, in terms of industry, compliance, whatever it is, but also let's have some fun while we're doing, shouting out other agents, doing whatever we can do. On a monthly basis, we give an agent $5,000 and tell them to throw a happy hour for everybody. What that does is obviously has an agent put on one hell of an event, and then everybody wants to come out to support that person. So we do kind of happy hours, but allow agents to get together and put it together so they see a real big part of it. Constantly doing raffles, doing whatever we can to make sure, hey, we want your input on how we can get better. Those are going out at all times. We have a culture person in place. That's kind of their full-time responsibility, is making sure we're putting all this stuff on the right way. They're coming off without a hitch. It's all good to go. And again, what he does with those raffles is what's most important to me is knowing what's happening in the brokerage. So on there, obviously we have, hey, concerns, questions, what can we do to help out? That comes to me. I actually did it today, and I'll go through every 200 inquiries and reply to each and every one of them and say, hey, saw this there, thinking of you if it's a potential, family member struggling, or, hey, saw you need help with the business. Let's get together. Here's my account. Whatever we can do to make sure they know, like, we truly, truly care about it and what we're doing. And then we just have our staple events, which are always just shows, whether it's Crab Fest or PSR Fest or St. Patty's Day, Cinco de Mayo, whatever it is. We look at it as a way of, hey, we're going to celebrate our success together, and we're going to make sure we're having fun as we do this whole thing. So everybody buys into that. And that culture piece is something that that's the one thing when I tell people, hey, you're going to come here because of all the tech we offer you, all the package options that we give you, whatever it is. But the one thing that it's going to keep you here forever, and you're not going to see it now, is when you come in here, you're going to love the place, right? Because we're going to treat you right. And that culture and that mentality stems all the way from the top to the bottom. And everybody's at all times making sure they kind of live up to those expectations. And that's what we care about. All right. So if you look at me and say, hey, what is your expectations of a person in your brokerage? Well, mine's strictly character based. As long you need to be a part of the culture, you need to be positive influence on it. If you're not, it's not going to be the right fit for you, right? If you're somebody who, is doing 1 or 2 transactions a year, or whatever that is, as long as you're putting in that effort and being good for what we're doing, I'd love to have you a part. The second you go to that other way where there's no effort in place, or you're potentially negative impact on what we're doing, that's when we kind of look at it and say, hey, this might not be the right place for you. Because you got to really, really protect, what that is, to make sure, you're protecting those that are buying into it.
Yeah. So yeah, and I got to imagine those culture events are also a huge part of the recruiting. Yeah, right. Because you bring somebody that's on the fence to one of those events. I got to imagine that sells them, because who else is doing that, dude?
Yeah, dude. Hey, man, I'll invite you out to one. You might want to come join.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love it, dude. So then, all right. So that's on the culture side, but with you giving all these agents leads and them obviously having to have a skill set to close those, I got to imagine that you guys are also really dialed in on the training side. So if a new agent joins, what are kind of some of the things that you guys are doing different to make sure that your agents are trained to go out there and produce on these?
Yeah, and we do it in a ton of different ways. We have obviously our in-class trainings at all times. All those are streamed live via our Facebook channels and things like that, so people can catch it just from home if they need to. So we have that virtual aspect as well. We're brick and mortar mixed with virtual brokerage, right? We try to hit it all. I don't think it's very tough for me to say go completely virtual, because you got to have that interaction with the agents, so we kind of mix it. But we do the in-class trainings, we do the virtual trainings, and obviously one-on-one help is super key and important to us. How I look at it is, if you're an agent, you're coming in here, well, it's going to be very important that we give you that hand-holding help through those first couple transactions, because I know, just based on experience, if I do that, questions are going to quit coming, because now you know what it is that you're doing. So we hit it from all levels, and that training ranges from the very basic all the way up to the top agent masterminds and those type of things who really want to grow their business. And the other thing that we do, obviously, if you join our brokerage, you have to go through a mandatory mentorship program if you're brand new or have limited experience in the past. And that is a mentorship program that we pay for, and we have dedicated coaches and people that put you through it. So it's not like you got to come here and give up some of your cash to, get somebody to help you, and they never have time for you. These people are completely dedicated to helping those agents grow. And once they get through that initial mentor coaching period, that's when they're able to go out and pick one of the just other 14 options that we have. So we try to hit it hard. It's super important to make sure every agent's trained and where they need to be, mainly because every agent's a reflection of the other agent, right? And that's what we've kind of realized as we grow. When you get to that large scale, you got to make sure every agent's making everybody look good at all times. And that's really what we've been hitting on recently, is saying, how can we make sure everybody is top notch in what they do?
Yeah. Well, I love it too. I mean, it's pretty awesome, dude, that they get to go through the mentorship program before they have to pick what plan, right? Because if they're like a brand new agent, they don't know what their gift is. They don't really know what they need from you. They don't really know how to pick that. So, that gives them that opportunity. So that's pretty badass, dude.
Yeah. I'll tell you what they usually say. They want leads,
Yeah.
Are you, should we give you leads is the biggest question. It lets us kind of dial in and make sure they're an agent who, is going to step up to the plate when the time comes.
Yeah. So 600 plus agents in 2 years. That sounds amazing. That sounds sexy. It sounds, everybody's like, I want that, but I'm sure growth pains can be harder than slow pains at times. So I'm sure there's also been, right, some big obstacles that you've had to overcome and having to figure this out in such a quick amount of time. What have you been growing this? Like, what have been some of those big obstacles, that you guys had to figure out quickly to overcome?
Yeah, to be honest, we've been crazy blessed with that, man. Now, when we make mistakes, it's we run into things that it's more us. Hey, let's try something outside the box and see what happens. Where I was very blessed is when I did this whole thing. I'm the real estate, side. I'm the vision. Hey, where are we taking this? What are we doing? But at Pearson, and then Smith is my uncle. So my uncle comes from running super high class corporate, places for a very long time, CPA, all that type stuff. He runs this thing like, it's well oiled, man. And he really takes that and makes sure it runs the way it needs to be. And again, we're very blessed with who we've hired and the people and how passionate they are. So if you look at it and say, is there anything that just stands out to me that says, man, I can't believe we got over that or what we did? It's actually just exceeded all expectations in terms of what we initially thought. Now there were some pain points in terms of, the growing, how quickly we grew. It was initially a, 1,500 square foot office with 200 agents. And, we had to go out and build office space and get other places to make sure, it kind of fit to what everybody needed. But we've been able to scale with it, very efficiently. And I can't think of anything off the top of my head unless it was a crazy idea that I had that we went out and tried, more with the mindset of, let's see if this thing works. And if it takes off, then it'll be great. And some of those things work, some of them don't, but nothing from a standpoint that would slow down what we're doing on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. So then you mentioned that, you're kind of a hybrid of virtual plus bricks and mortar, which I think is really smart. With this day and age, man, I don't know if you want to get stuck into heavy bricks and mortar, right? There's too much uncertainty out there. And with technology, allows it so easy to get virtual, but also if you're fully virtual, you lose an aspect of that culture. So when it comes to office space and things, like what are some things that you guys have done to have that balance, where then you're also just not buried with all these massive, huge office buildings?
Yeah, we have 2 flagship offices. So we have one about 7,000 square feet. It's out of Ashburn, where we kind of really all started it all. And then we have one in Merrifield that actually opens up in a week. That's another flagship place, but it hits a different marketplace. The other ones are kind of more satellite. And luckily, again, we're not tied to many long-term leases outside of those flagship offices. So if we did have to shift or make, any changes, we're able to do that. But what we do is try to hit areas that allow us to hit different types of agents and, areas of agents, which allows us to help without trying to have an office on every single corner, whatever it is. And the value prop on the packages, the truth is it makes people saying, you know what, I'm okay if I need to travel into a brokerage or, make a little bit of a drive, because it's worth it. I'm already getting something so great from the brokerage. And we do have that agent intranet and, Facebook pages and things where people are sharing information all the time. We do try to provide an environment that's a lot of fun. Like, here in our Ashburn office, like I said, we have the, putting greens and all that type of stuff, getting a little sense of Zappos in a sense. In Merrifield, we have the arcade. We have the local breweries put beer on tap. We got, dartboards, whatever it is to kind of keep people wanting to come in and making sure they're having fun. And then, constant just off the cuff routine. Hey, let's go ahead and get everybody in here and who can win some money by, putting or whatever it is. Just trying to keep the atmosphere always fun. And the cool thing because of that, we're always packed. Like, we never have a day where you're like, where are all the agents? I can't find anybody. Here it's kind of, hey, I want to get to the office so I can make sure I have my seat for the day, and all that good stuff. Almost every single day, it's kind of I don't want to say catered, but you have your breakfasts and your snack bars and, whatever it is out for the agents. So, it's an environment that says, hey, I want to come there because it's just going to help. And then when they do, it makes them more productive, obviously.
Yeah. No, I dig it, dude. That's awesome, bro. Because there's a direct correlation, at least I found, from agents that are in the office compared to agents that never are, right? There's just an element to it. And now as far as you personally, dude, because you seem like somebody that really likes to help and really be involved with the agents, but you get to a point where you're adding so many, it's like, man, you can't meet one-on-one. You can't always be the, hey man, you got a minute? Can't be the got a minute guy all the time. Like, how have you managed your time to be able to scale, to keep the culture alive, but also make it where there's only so many hours in a day, dude?
Yeah, right. To be honest with you, I'm pretty lucky in that aspect. I'm the vision and the recruiting. So my meetings are pretty dialed in. Plus I do some obviously coaching for agents, but we still literally have an open door policy. I mean, people come in here, I welcome it. I want them to burst in. I want them to kind of tell me what's going on. So I always see what's happening. But my day is extremely structured, from the time I wake up I usually get up about, 4:00, and then I'm in bed by, midnight. That's just kind of how I run Monday through Friday. Take a little break. Obviously I got some little ones. I got a 3 and a 1-year-old, so I get a little bit of time with them. But how I do it is I'm going nonstop Monday through Friday. Weekends now, I literally don't do anything. People are pretty respectful of that time, just to give me the time with the family, which then it gives me the energy to get back out there and do it all over again. So my day's pretty easy, and I will say it's super simplistic, but I believe it's Calendly. That scheduling app, man, it changed my life once I was able to get that. It's super simple. It's actually free. It's like $9.99 if you want to have 2 appointment times. But I used to just do so much time going back and forth with people, try to scheduling times. I never do anything typically outside meet me in the office anymore. I can't do lunch with you because that's going to take 2 hours instead of an hour that we could have done. I'm just very strategic on what meetings am I going to take? And then also, how am I going to take those meetings? Because if you're not willing to come give me an hour at the time or whatever it is, it's probably not something you're extremely interested in. And let's sit down, see the office, make sure this is what you're looking for from an atmosphere standpoint, and get together. So very strategic with the time, definitely grind. I'm 32 years old. I don't want to stop anytime soon in anything that we're doing. And at the end of the day, that obviously helps out in terms of where we are.
Yep. Love it, dude. So, I know you talked about not necessarily wanting to grow outside of what's it, the 3 states or the tri-state area that you're in. But what do you guys see yourself taking this, man? Do you have kind of a capacity in your mind that you think you can get to before it's, hit a saturation point?
No, man, obviously I'm constantly researching how can we get more leads. There's a point of, hey, are there leads out there that we're going to be able to get? I know Ariana was on the show. Remind, I think it's going to be pretty slick in terms of things that we can do with that. YLopo and some other platforms that are coming out that might be able to help, and looking at different avenues of how can we generate more leads. So there is a lead perspective in terms of we almost got a wait list at times for people to get on that package, but it makes it good because those agents coming on are super hungry. Outside of that, again, in that area, we're in a place where luckily there's probably 40,000 agents. Heck, man, I want to take over market share, and anybody that's a person that's going to fit our culture, I'd love to meet with you and kind of, see where we can take it, because we want good people. And again, I look at it as we're just getting started in terms of what we're doing, and want to see where we can really take this thing.
Yeah, so I'm just here in the Phoenix metro area, right? We're so saturated with agents. We have about 40,000 agents just in our county, just our metropolitan area. And, you see some of the bigger players out here that here locally will have 4,000 agents just in the Phoenix metro area, right? So it's,
Oh, yeah.
No reason you can't do that, right? You can rack up 10%.
Oh, for sure, man.
Yep. Love it, dude. So then, those that are watching and listening that do want to that might have some interest of learning more about what you guys do, or in that area, we got 80-90% of our listeners are realtors. Where's the best place, Eric, to learn more about you guys, learn more about your company?
Yeah, you can check out PearsonSmithRealty.com. That's obviously a great place to check it. You can look at all the social media channels and things that we have, but it's a good place to get on there and look, or honestly, just reach out to me directly, Eric, ERIC, at the letter E, the number 4, and then realty.com. Always, and I tell this to people, man, and this is, kudos to you just for everything that you're doing. And it amazes me, man, because I'm happy to help anybody. Like, you don't even have to be a part of it. If you need to just help and I can be a resource of any, shape or form, like, reach out. There's no point in hiding anything or anything like that. Just want to help the whole realtor community just grow in terms of what we're doing. And that's why, this is, so cool what you do, man. Trust me, I've watched your stuff for years. It's not new to me. I'm definitely on your email list. I think I learned how to hold an open house from the right way from what you do. So, cool stuff, man. Reach out anytime, whether it's to learn more about Pearson Smith or just to, mastermind, pick brains. As long as I got the capacity, I'm always willing to help.
Yep. Love it, dude. Yeah. It's so crazy how so many in this industry operate from this huge scarcity mindset, right? And there's enough business to go around, man. I've just found that when you operate from that place of abundancy, dude, it just opens up so many more doors. And
oh yeah,
so I love that, dude. So, all right, man. So knowing what you know now, like if the Eric today could go back to the Eric when you first got into the industry and give yourself 2 pieces of advice that you feel would have just fast forwarded all the success that you've been on, which I don't really know if it can get that much faster, but if you could, what would those 2 pieces of advice look like?
I'll just think about kind of what I told an agent today. Like, obviously database for everybody is the most important thing. And people sometimes get mixed up of, what a database is, in a sense of they think it's who is 100% going to use you. Like, my database is 10 people, my best friends, this, that, and the other. And, it's not that. It's who may use you, right? But who potentially, if they knew you did real estate, is going to use you. Statistics show people move every 7 to 10 years. So get 100 people in your database, contact them the right way, and you're going to close 10 houses a year, right? So think about who may potentially use you. It's not about who's 100% going to use you. Just get in front of them and kind of see what happens. So database is always super key. And then the other thing is, all these podcasts and everything, you got to get out and you got to listen to them and you got to take in the knowledge and do what it is, but don't think you need to do everything. Kind of narrow that scale down and say, here's the 3, 4, 5 pillars that are going to really make my business run. But you don't have to do 30, 40 of them because you're not going to do any of them successfully, right? So figure out what fits you, matches your personality, you're confident doing. You're never going to convert a lead with a door knock or whatever it is if you're, don't feel comfortable even doing it. So think about what fits your personality, what those pillars are, and just really stay consistent with it. The word in this business is just consistency. Stay with it. First 6 months, year is going to suck. And then after that, it's going to explode as long as you do what you need to do.
Yeah. Well, you're living proof of that, right? Not that 10 deals in your first year isn't as bad, right? But you busted out 10 deals and then by your third year, you're doing 300 plus, right?
Oh, yeah. It just, no, when I started, man, I bought a house with my cousin right before I quit my accounting job. My uncle, who is now my partner, grabbed my cousin when he found out I was getting into real estate, and just said to him, "Don't you dare lend Eric any money." Because everybody thought I wasn't going to be able to make this thing happen. So, when you get into it, just put in the effort. That's what it always is. If I ever see anybody fail, it's usually they didn't put in the effort or you got into it with financial need in like a week. And unfortunately, that's not going to happen. So just get into it, put in the effort, and I guarantee with that consistency, results are going to come.
Yep, 100% powerful words. Couldn't agree more. Those that are watching and listening, I know I interview podcasts with this, you guys, but information without implementation truly is the start of delusion. Information is the power. It's taking that information, taking massive action on it that creates the power in your life for you to go out there and create the life that you know you want and deserve. And Eric shared so many amazing pieces of advice with you guys today. Take something that you learn and take immediate action on it. And below, wherever you're at, okay, we're watching, listening to this, there'll be all Eric's contact information, the website, so check that out. And Eric, man, working 4 to midnight, my kind of a man. So I know how busy you are. So the fact that you took time out of your busy day to be here, man, is a huge honor, man. I truly appreciate it.
Yeah, dude, I appreciate being part of it, man. Keep doing what you're doing, man. You're kicking ass, and I love to watch it. So,
yeah, truly means a lot, my friend. All right, you guys, thanks again. We'll see you next time.